Hello dear students, up till now in class 11 physics unit 3 chapter 5 laws of motion we have discussed about the concept of force, Newton's first law of motion, momentum and Newton's second law of motion. Based on this previous knowledge, today in this video lesson we are going to discuss impulse momentum theorem, measurement of impulse by graphical method, importance of impulse in our everyday life and numericals related to the topic impulse. First of all, let us define what is meant by the word impulse. When a ball hits a wall and bounces back, the force on the ball by the wall acts for a very short time when the two are in contact with each other. Yet, the force is large enough to reverse the momentum on the ball. In these situations, it is difficult to ascertain the force and the time duration separately. Why? Because the force which is acting is very large and the time for which this force acts is very small. However, the product of force and time, which is the change in momentum, is a measurable quantity, and this product is called impulse. So mathematically, impulse is given by the product of force and time duration for which this force acts, and it is equal to the change in momentum. So J vector, J symbol here is used for the impulse. It is a vector quantity, therefore J vector is equal to F vector multiplied by the time t. A large force acting for a short time to produce a finite change in momentum is called impulsive force. Impulsive force is like any other force except that it is large and acts for a short time. So come to the dimensions of impulse. As impulse is given by the product of force and time, so dimensional formula for the force is what? m1 l1 t minus 2, and for the time t dimensional formula is t. So finally we get dimensional formula for the impulse is m1 l1 t minus 1. Next come to its SI unit. Impulse is given by the product of force and time. Force is measured in Newton and time is measured in second. So SI unit of impulse is Newton second. It can also be written as kilogram meter per second. In CGS, we can write its unit as gram centimeter per second. So come to its nature next. It is a vector quantity and its direction is same as that of the force. Next come to the relation between impulse and momentum. Now what is momentum? Momentum is that quantity which measures the quantity of motion possessed by any body. It is given by the product of mass and velocity. Whereas impulse is that physical quantity which measures the impact of the force which acts for a very short time but it is very large in magnitude. Now the relation between the two is given by impulse momentum theorem. Mathematically, I vector, I here stands for the impulse. It can be represented by the letter capital J also. I vector is equal to F vector into dt. So using Newton's second law of motion, F vector is equal to dp vector by dt. So dt and dt will get cancelled. So we get it is equal to dp vector, that is the change in the momentum. Therefore, impulse of a force on a body is equal to the change in its momentum. This is what known as impulse momentum theorem. Now next come to the proof of impulse momentum theorem. So here let us start with the Newton's second law of motion. According to Newton's second law, applied force is equal to rate of change of momentum. Therefore, F vector is equal to dp vector by dt, or F vector dt is equal to dp vector. Now if you consider the time change from 0 to t, then in time 0 to t, the momentum of the body say changes from p1 vector to p2 vector. Taking integration on both the sides of the above equation, this limits time from 0 to t and limits of p is from p1 to p2. The integral of dp is p. On putting the limits, we get p2 vector minus p1 vector. Whereas on the other side, we are having integral of f vector dt from 0 to t. This is equal to the impulse j vector. Therefore, j vector is equal to p2 vector minus p1 vector. From here, we get impulse momentum theorem. That is, the impulse of a force is equal to the total change in momentum produced by the force. This is known as impulse momentum theorem. Next, come to the graphical importance of force time graph. If we are having force time graph, we can measure the impulse by graphical method. Now under this, we can consider two different situations. Case number 1, if the force applied is constant, and case 2, if the force applied is variable. First of all, let us take that the force applied is a constant force. Graph between force and time is as shown here. Red line here shows that constant force is applied. Suppose the time interval here is from time t1 to t2. Let us mark this shaded region, which is in the form of a square or in rectangle form also. You can take, say its vertices be marked as A, B, C, D. Then area of rectangle A, B, C, D is equal to length into breadth. So AD multiplied by AB. AD here is the force, say capital F. AB here is the time interval, T2 minus T1. So force multiplied by the time interval. This is equal to the magnitude of impulse, that is J. So it means area under the force time graph gives us the magnitude of the impulse. This is the graphical importance. So we are correlating physical quantity with the mathematical quantity, that is area under the curve equals the impulse. Next case, when the force applied is variable. Here again the red line which is curved in shape is the force curve, and let us say consider the time interval again, say t1 to t2. So the impulse of the force here, that is J, is equal to integral from, let us take the limits from t1 to t2. So J is equal to integral from t1 to t2, then f dt. F dt here is the area of this small shaded part, length into breadth. If we consider the total area under the curve between the time interval t1 to t2, then we have to integrate it. So J is equal to integral of f dt from t1 to t2, and it is actually what? It is equal to the area under the force time curve. So again the same result we get, set area under the force time graph is equal to the magnitude of the impulse of the given force in the given time interval. Here lies the graphical importance of the force time graph, that is impulse is equal to area under force time graph. Now let us take some examples of impulse from our everyday life. There are too many examples from our daily life which makes use of the concept of impulse. First is, say a high jumping or a long jumping athlete is provided either a cushion or a heap of sand on the ground to fall. Now what is the role of this cushion or heap of sand? The cushion or sand helps to increase the time in which the momentum comes to zero. This decreases the rate of change of momentum and hence the force. So the athlete does not get hurt. This can be explained mathematically also using Newton's second law of motion. F is equal to dp by dt, right? So the time dt here increases, which decreases the force. So this decreases the rate of change of momentum if the time of impact increases, and hence the force also decreases. So the athlete does not get hurt. Now next example is packing materials like thermocol, corrugated sheets, bubbled plastic sheet, straw, paper strands, etc. are used while packing glassware, chinaware, electronic devices, etc. These materials help to increase the time in which the momentum comes to zero when jolting and jerking take place. This decreases the rate of change of momentum, that is dp by dt. As dt increases, dp by dt it decreases, and hence the force also decreases. So the athlete do not get, so the articles do not get broken. Next is shock absorbers. They are provided in vehicles to allow more time during the bumps and jerks. Now what happens actually? When a vehicle moves on an uneven road, it receives jerk. The shockers increases the time of jerk and hence reduces its force. This makes the journey comfortable and saves the automobile from damage due to bumps. Next is a cricket player is always asked to lower his hand while catching a ball. This question is frequently asked in the exam also. This is very important. You must be able to explain it. A seasoned cricketer player stops the ball or catches the ball by drawing his hands along the direction of motion of the ball, thus by allowing more time and to apply less force. You see here, a cricketer is lowering his hand while catching the ball. A fast moving cricket ball has a large momentum. In stopping the cricket ball, its momentum has to be reduced to zero. When a player moves his hand back, the time taken to stop the ball increases, and hence the rate of change of momentum decreases. That is, the force exerted by the ball on the hand, it decreases, so the hands of the player do not get hurt. Next is buffers are provided between the bogies of a train. Buffers increases the time of jerk during shunting. Again the same. This decreases the force of impact between the bogies, and the bogies are thus prevented from receiving severe jerks. Next come to some numericals based on the concept of impulse. I am taking here NCERT example 5.4. A batsman hits back a ball straight in the direction of the bowler without changing its initial speed of 12 meters per second. There is no change in the speed, there is only the change in the direction, as the statement says. If the motion of the ball, if the mass of the ball is 0.15 kg, determine the impulse imparted to the ball. Assume that the motion of the ball is linear. Let us draw a figure here. Ball is moving towards the bat. The batsman hits the ball. V vector is from the left to the right. On hitting, minus V vector is the velocity in the reverse direction. There is no change in the magnitude of the velocity, only there is the change in the direction. So first of all, let us write down what is given to us. Here initial velocity u is equal to 12 meters per second. Final velocity v is equal to minus 12 meters per second, and mass of the body is given to be 0.15 kg. Now impulse J, it is given by the change in the momentum of the body as per impulse momentum theorem. And momentum is given by the product of mass and velocity. So m within bracket v minus u. So what is m here? It is 0.15 and v here is minus 12, u here is 12. So it is 0.15 multiplied by minus 24 and this comes out to be minus 3.6 Newton second. Minus sign here indicates that it is in the opposite direction of the motion in which it was initially moving. Now come to the next numerical. It is question 5.14. Figure shows the position time graph of a particle of mass 4 kg. What is the A part? Force on the particle for t less than 0, for t greater than 4 seconds, for t lying between 0 and 4 seconds, and in B part we are to calculate impulse at time t equals to 0 and at time t equals to 4 seconds. Consider one dimensional motion only. As shown in the force time xt graph, taking x along the y axis, t is along the x axis, from O to A the graph is having constant slope. Corresponding to the point A, time is 4 seconds. Now mass of the particle is given to be 4 kg. We are to find the force acting on the particle for t less than 0, t between 0 to 4 seconds and t greater than 4 seconds in all the three regions. So let us come to its solution. A part. When time is less than 0, as this part is horizontal. Now you can see here when the time is less than 0, the curve is along the x axis. It is on the x, coinciding with the x axis. The force acting is 0. So for t less than 0, force acting on the particle is also 0. Now come to the next part. For t between 0 and 4 seconds. So if the time t is between 0 to 4, as represented by the curve OA, the graph is having constant slope. And the slope of the xt graph represents the constant velocity. Velocity is given by change in y coordinate over change in x coordinate. Y coordinate here is 3, x coordinate here is 4. The slope will be 3 by 4. It is 0.75 meters per second. Now as the velocity is constant, so constant velocity, it means there is no acceleration. Acceleration will be 0. So as F is given by m into A, so no acceleration, force will be 0. So it means again there is no force acting on the particle for the time between 0 to 4 seconds. Come to its third part, for time greater than 4 seconds. For time greater than 4 seconds, the distance x is constant with respect to time. There is no change in x from the origin. It means the particle is at rest. Hence, the force on the particle is again 0. Now come to the B part of this question, that is we are to find the impulse at t equals to 0 and at t equals to 4 seconds. First of all, impulse at t equals to 0. Now we know that impulse is equal to the change in the momentum of the body. So first of all, let us check what is the velocity of the body before t equals to 0. That will be its initial velocity. Now before t equals to 0, the velocity of the particle is 0. So u equals to 0. And after t equals to 0, the particle is having constant velocity of 0.75 meters per second. It is v. Mass is given to be 4 kg. So impulse is what? M into v minus u. So m here is 4 seconds, v here is 0.75, u is 0, and on simplifying it and calculating it, we get impulse is 3 kilogram meters per second. Come to its next part. at t equals to 4 seconds. Again, before t equals to 4, its velocity is 0.75 because we have to find the change in momentum. For that, we have to find out the change in velocity. So, u here is 0.75 before t equals to 0, and after t equals to 4 seconds, its velocity is 0 because x is constant with respect to time. So, impulse is equal to mv minus u, that is m 0 minus 0.75, and this comes out to be minus 3 kilogram meters per second. So, come to the recapitulation part now. So, what we have studied today in this video lesson, first of all, impulse j, it is given by the product of force and time. Its SI unit is Newton second, or it can be taken as kilogram meter per second. In CGS, its SI unit is gram centimeter per second. It is a vector quantity and it is directed along the direction of the force. Then next comes the relation between impulse and momentum. Impulse j vector is equal to p2 vector minus p1 vector, and it is equal to m v vector minus u vector. And last comes the impulse momentum theorem, that is area under the force time graph, it is equal to the magnitude of the impulse j. So, these are some points which we have studied in this video lesson. Next, come to some assignment questions. Try these questions. First is, a cricket player lowers his hand while catching a ball. You have to answer it. Why? Reason out. Second is, China wares are wrapped in straw paper before packing. Again, why? Third is, why are shockers used in cars, scooters and motorcycles? Fourth is, why buffers are provided between the bogies of a railway train? And the fifth one is the numerical, it's the application part of impulse. 0.5 kg cart 1 is pulled with a 1 Newton force for 1 second, and another 0.5 kg cart is pulled with 2 Newton force for 0.5 seconds. A part, which cart 1 or 2 has the greatest acceleration? Explain. B part, which cart 1 or 2 has the greatest impulse? Explain. And third is, which cart 1 or 2 has the greatest change in momentum? Explain. So, this is all about this video lesson. I think all the topics being taught in this video lesson is clear to you. Thank you very much.